So, do you think it's going to be important to keep your tenants in your property in this upcoming recession or even depression? A lot of people are saying it's going to be a depression. You better believe it. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a lot of operators that are going to struggle with this, the ones that are new in this business. If you don't know me, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast, which I'm blessed to say is the largest commercial real estate podcast in the world now. It just blows me away. We've over 14 million downloads. I'm also author of the #1 best-selling book, How to Create Lifetime Cash Flow with Multifamily Properties. And so let's talk about how important it is to keep your tenants happy during this downturn and keep them in your property, because resident retention is critical. People are going to move. They're going to combine households. They're going to try to find lower priced rental units because rents have gone crazy, and keeping them in your property is absolutely critical. Now, I'm going to tell you, your biggest expense as a landlord is tenant turnover. It's much easier and a lot less money to keep your tenants happy than turn over your units. So what does it start with? It starts with making sure that the properties are in great condition, that you take care of them. You focus on the customer experience, okay? If they, just be maniacal about keeping your residents happy, okay? And I'm going to give you lots of examples of how to do this. First thing is you better keep your eye on your Google reviews and your reputation as well. If tenants are complaining, you need to know about it, so you take care of them, you respond to those complaints, and you pay attention to it. I think probably the biggest thing is paying attention to your work order fulfillment. Make sure every single resident gets called back after one of your maintenance guys goes out there and fixes something. Make sure they're happy. You can also, I know lots of operators that hire virtual assistants to do this for them. They'll just call them and after they move in, make sure go through the lease and ask them if they're happy, if they need anything. You can also have them call, like I say, after you do a maintenance request, make sure that the work got done properly. Another thing that you might do is do longer leases, okay? And have your leases stagger. Maybe you do 18-month, 20-month, 24-month leases. You could also do rent caps temporarily, where you're not going to increase the rent for a while. I'm going to tell you, that's going to keep people from moving. But you want to make sure that it's very easy for a resident to turn in a maintenance ticket, where they can do it online, they can do it over the phone. You want to be very digital right now. You want to make sure they can apply for a unit online, that they can do the tours online, they can see the property online, they can do a virtual tour. You want to make sure your staff, has smiles on their faces, and again, they focus on resident happiness. We've got an asset in San Antonio, and I just did a presentation literally the night before last for our investors there, because it's been a year, and I just showed all of the tenant events that the manager there has done. They did a wine, what do they call it? Wine Down Wednesday, where they had wine and snacks and the residents could come. They did a Christmas party where they had Santa Claus there, and she dressed up as Mrs. Claus, and they gave away free pies, and residents love that. They did an ice cream pool party where they had an ice cream truck come and give the kids and the adults even ice cream and at the pool. A Valentine's Day party. So these are the sorts of things that create a community where your residents don't want to leave, okay? So, I'm going to tell you that people will likely be moving together and cozying up. I mean, with inflation as insane as it is right now, with gas prices as insane as they are, I'm going to tell you the lower income demographic is going to struggle. So again, you might even consider adjusting your prices right now. I'm very serious. If it means a temporary lull in your ability to force appreciation right now, the key is to get through this with minimal pain. And again, you don't want to lose any of your residents, because getting them in at this point is going to be harder than it was these last couple of years. Now if you've already got some, reasonable pricing, focus on occupancy, keeping the unit, like I said, keeping the units occupied and keeping your tenants happy is much easier than leasing empty units. I would encourage you now more than ever, really asset management is going to be the belle of the ball, okay? And I've got a great book on this that I'll let you have for free. It's How to Manage Your Assets. And if you just text asset, the word asset, to 72345, I'll give it to you. I'm really proud of it. We just finished it. So asset management and what's coming, super important. You got to pay attention to your key performance indicators, right? Your KPIs. Watch your occupancy. Mystery shop your competition even more right now. How do you compare? Have they lowered their prices? How do your amenities and your features measure up? They could easily capture market share if you're not on your game. And like I said, there are a lot of operators that just got into this business recently that haven't gone through a downturn like I have. And I'm telling you, if they're not really paying attention to managing that asset, they're going to get in trouble. So, you're going to want to also re-underwrite your assets to the current situation right now. The interest rate increases. You want to make sure that your pro forma is still realistic, that your exit cap rate for your refinance or your sale is still realistic. You may want to anticipate drops in your economic occupancy. People have a tough time paying or they move, and just see how, what your break-even point is. You need to know what that line in the sand is. You may even want to stop distributions to your investors for a short while, letting them know you're conserving cash. It's a little bit painful, but it's better than having a problem. You definitely may want to consider holding off on your CapEx work, the improvements that you're making to the property for a short while we get through this. I would recommend that you increase your operating reserves. One of the things we do is we always have at least 6 months of our expenses in an operating reserve. That's a minimum, okay? You may want to increase them. And again, be religious about your KPIs. How long is a work order open? How quick are you getting stuff fixed? What do the delinquencies look like? What does the occupancy look like? What are the lease expirations like? How are you doing with renewals? How's your income to your budget? How's your occupancy to your projected occupancy? How are your expenses relating to your budget? Look for anomalies. You really need to pay attention right now. How many work orders, how dated are there? How many are in the past 24 hours? How many have been open for several days? That's going to be an unhappy tenant, right? Their work's not getting done. You could survey your residents, see how they feel about things. Be okay with getting negative feedback, because it's the only way you're going to know what's going on in your asset is to get that feedback. And guys, we are absolutely in the soup right now. It's a recession already. It could very easily become a depression, and I think it's going to actually. But remember this, with crisis comes opportunity. So to take advantage of these opportunities, you have to know this business. Now I'm going to tell you, I've got a 2-day virtual boot camp coming up October 15th and 16th. And if you watch this and it's past those dates already, just go to the website and the next one will be there. I don't sell anything at this event, and you can come for $97 freaking dollars, okay? 2 full days of training for $97. I teach you how to pick a market, how to evaluate a market, how to find deals, all the deals you can imagine, how to evaluate those deals, how to underwrite them, how to do the due diligence on them, how to build your team, how to find all the money you need for your deals, how to finance them, how to syndicate, how to joint venture, even how to property manage or hire a management company, and just a ton more. So I'm talking about 16, 18 hours of training, nothing being sold for $97. So the link is below. Trust me, you'll be glad you came if you make it, okay? But regardless, whether you learn from me or not, if you are interested in multifamily, get up to speed right now. If you're interested in single family, go learn from somebody that teaches single family. If you're interested in buying businesses, go learn from someone that buys businesses. But get up to speed right now, because once we're in the thick of this, it's going to be too late. But when I tell you opportunity is coming, I don't say that lightly, okay? Some people are saying it's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth we see in our lifetimes. I'm talking about building legacy wealth for you and your family, your kids, their kids, their kids, and their kids. That's how powerful what's coming is going to be. But you got to get up to speed right now. So I hope I see you at my boot camp. By the way, if you come and you don't freaking love it, I don't mean like it, I mean absolutely freaking love it, I'll give you your money back. No problem at all. It's never happened, but there's a first time for everything. I hope I see you there.